in, I'd say, March of 2010, and I gotta admit, it was pretty scary. I went to a school of 700, so coming from that school to this school, it was a huge difference. There were so many more people, so many different kinds of people, and I was completely lost. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who I could trust, who were my friends. I didn't really have any. So at first, it was a really difficult transition, but I guess as the weeks went by, I kind of felt really welcome, and that was because of social media. I met a lot of people, not only in class, but also on Facebook, and, I could connect with them in class, I could talk to them on the internet, and it really helped me to sort of incorporate myself into the OPRF community. And, eventually I started to become more at home. I felt more comfortable with my classmates because, I not only knew them in school, I knew them, on the internet, I knew them outside of class, and that really helped me. I get numbers, I could text them, I could ask them about assignments, I could ask them about what they're doing on the weekend, just things like that. But it really did help me become, a prominent member of the OPRF community, and it really helped me out in becoming more comfortable with both myself and how I associated with others. So that really helped me out.
My freshman year, I moved to Oak Park from Minnesota, and I didn't know anyone. So I came into school, and I tried my hardest to make a whole bunch of new friends, and I quickly developed a good group of friends, and I got a boyfriend. And the boyfriend that I got, a lot of girls had crushes on, and for the first 3 months of high school, every day I'd log on to Facebook and I'd have an honesty box, and they said really, really hurtful things, and they progressively got worse and worse. Some of the things that were said to me were that no one wanted me here, and that I should go back to Minnesota, and I was repeatedly called a slut and a whore, and that I stole him from people, and they told me that none of my friends liked me, and that just really, really mean things. And I think that for a freshman girl, that's really impactful. Not even just being a girl that had just moved and didn't really know anyone, but just being a girl in general, being a person in general, to have that every day was really hard and impactful. And it stays with me now, and I'm a senior, and I still think about it.
I think people get the idea that what they say on the internet doesn't have as much impact as it would if you said it to the person's face. So they'll say these things, and they'll say them with, thinking there's no consequence. And then they'll see that person the next day and, in person, and there's a massive ramifications for what they've said. But I think that people need to be more responsible with what they say, and they need to sort of filter themselves, because they may feel more comfortable saying it in private, in front of their computer screen. They may feel a lot more safe, but they need to watch what they say, because these people, they're real, and what they say is real. So cyberbullying really does have an impact because of social media, and that really amplifies it.
I know that I have a lot of friends that have been impacted, but I myself haven't really been a victim of it. But I know a ton of people that have, and I actually know a friend that has a friend that committed suicide from it. So that was a really big deal, and it was really recent. It wasn't a long time ago, and I think that it's something that people don't really take seriously, and it is a big issue. Personally, it scares me to know that it's so effective with people. People that you think that are okay or something, that come to school and put a smile on for everybody. It's you go home and you come into your computer and then you see all these bad messages, or it's just you're just trying to maybe do homework, and you go on Facebook and then something you see really hurts your feelings, and it's a big deal. People don't understand that it really hurts. And even with the smile they put on every day, it's not they may not feel it every day.
When you see cyberbullying, you really shouldn't just let it happen. Everyone, it's not a nice thing. And, people participate in it sometimes and not know they're participating in it. And that's wrong. So when you see your friends talking about so-and-so did so-and-so and did whatever, you shouldn't be the one that's sitting there laughing, and you shouldn't go off and tell other people. That's not nice. It just makes the situation worse. Like, how do you think that person feels, you know? Because it was probably a private affair, and then now everyone knows about it. Just because now everyone wants to talk about it. Cyberbullying not only hurts the person you're talking about, but it also hurts yourself because it makes you look bad. It's like every person have a certain type of integrity and character. And when you sit there and start talking about other people and making them, you know, feel worse about themselves, you make yourself look bad and you show you have no character.
On Facebook, a friend and I used to go and pretty much stalk our other friends and post nasty messages and comments on other people's posts, just doing it as a joke, and we never took it seriously or whatever. But
first, I didn't really know cyberbullying was really a bad thing. You know, I can honestly say I have participated in it, but you know, after being, you know, someone telling me, and after seeing it happen to other people, and after seeing it happen to myself, I learned that you can't treat people that way. I was in situations where I would see other people and I would go around and gossip, and you know, then the situation turned and I was gossiped about, and it didn't feel good. So it's the whole thing of treat others the way you want to be treated type thing, where you have to sit there. If you see it, don't continue the process. It's like the trail only continues if you keep building the road.
A couple of my friends and I put a picture up on Facebook of our basketball team, and a couple of our friends were making little jokes and comments about the way certain people looked and the clothes they were wearing and the poses they were in and their expressions. And it started off as a joke, and then it turned into arguments, and it just got really out of hand. And one of the girls actually ended up leaving our school because of it. I mean, I could have stepped in earlier and just said, no, this isn't right, but I didn't.
so what I could do differently is I could probably stop posting stuff like that and realize that the things that I may say and may take as a joke is actually really serious.
I think it's hard to be the person that steps up and says this isn't okay, and it's hard to be the person that puts an end to it, but it's important to be that person, and you need to start being those people.
It's important to be that person, and on top of that, someone has to be that person. And if you step up, while the immediate effects may not be exactly what you're hoping for, what you think that they're going to be, the long-term effects are much more meaningful.
I do think that like we've learned that by being a bystander, we're not the bullies, and that's like okay, and we rest on that. And as long as I'm not the one saying the hurtful words, I'm not the bully in the situation. And we need to like reassess and realize that
That's not true.
right, just by letting it happen, someone's being hurt. Someone insulted a friend of mine, I'd make sure that they know that their word choice can be really emotionally impactful and that their effects can last on a person. And I wouldn't want my friend to feel any less of themselves because of something that someone said.
And I was on Facebook one time, networking about music with different musicians and artists. And one guy in particular sent me a message asking me to check out his music. And I was like, okay, sure. He asked for my honest opinion. So after listening to it, I said it was okay, but I gave him a few pointers on what he should do to make it better. And he really got offended by it. And I was like, you asked for my opinion, so I just gave you my opinion. I'm sorry if I hurt you. And so he blocked me on Facebook and everything. He knew that I went to Oak Park and River Forest, so he went through some of my friends on Oak Park and River Forest list, and he started sending out that I had AIDS. He's like, if you know this girl at Oak Park and River Forest, she has AIDS. And so after a mutual friend came to me and told me and showed me the message, I was like, first of all, that's stupid, but then again, it hurt because I'm like, okay, we know it's a rumor, but at the same time, it's painful because I have to look at these people every day of my life, and they don't know if it's true or not. So it's really messed up, and it really hurt. I believe if you saw cyberbullying happen to someone, or if that happened to you, I believe if it's people from the school spreading it or bullying you, you should report it to your to your teachers. You should report it to your counselors or anybody of that nature. And if it's people outside of school, I believe if it's that bad, you really should report it to the police, because cyberbullying is a crime.
Personally, it makes me feel uncomfortable when I see a guy on top of a girl in the hallway and she's telling him, no, I don't want this. But he's forcing her and saying, yes, you do, you like it, you love it. I don't know what to do in that situation, and it makes me feel uncomfortable in my school environment, which I don't deserve.
I don't think people understand that that's really sexual harassment. If somebody's up there like, please don't do this to me, but you continue to go about it, that's sexual harassment. And that needs to be told to a teacher, told to a principal, told to a counselor, a dean. It needs to be reported because it's sexual harassment. And that's simple as that.
And you just standing there by and just letting it happen, that's also a bad thing. You're also participating in sexual harassment by letting it happen. And seeing her struggle with this guy, you're not saying anything, not doing anything. You're just basically like, oh, it's okay. You're promoting sexual harassment by doing that. And that's also not.
Even the smallest thing, like guys walking up to a girl, hitting their butt or something like that, and the girl getting upset by it, that's sexual harassment too.
And when will it stop? When we have a serious tragedy on our hands, when a girl is raped or sexually assaulted, is that when it'll stop? Or should we stop it before it gets to that level?
So when you see it, say something. Either, help the girl get away. She'll respect you more for that if you help her out of the situation that she's not comfortable in. But you have to help in some way.
Everyone has a responsibility.
You hear my side of the story now, just from my point of view, it's hurtful. It's a struggle to go to school every day, what people will say about me.
There was this senior my freshman year who would touch me, and I would try to tell someone about it and they would never have evidence of it. And one day he had kept harassing me and calling me. I don't know how he got my number, but he would text me and call me, and one day I finally just flat out told him, no, I'm not going to date you, nothing's going to happen, I'm not going to go to prom with you. And he had threatened to kill me. When I see him now, he doesn't go here anymore, so I don't see him that much, but I feel like I want to run and hide, or I feel like I'm going to be touched in a way I don't want to be touched. I would like to see people stick up and say, like, hey, don't do that, don't touch her, don't, just stand up for the person who's being touched or violated or sexually harassed or bullied. I would stop it because, like, you can